And gentlemen, it has been an interesting week. It has been an interesting offseason already. A couple manager candidates have been in town already. I'll start with you, Nick Cafardo, who so far is out of the gate, and is there a leader at this point?
I get the feeling we haven't seen that guy yet. You know, but that's just my opinion. I mean, a lot of people think that Dale Swaim could be the front runner right now. You know, Torey Lovullo is coming in. You know, Sandy Alomar has a great reputation with some of the things he's done in Cleveland. But I quite frankly am underwhelmed at the moment, given the people that they've brought in. I thought that they would go with a more experienced group of candidates at this point, given what happened with this team at the end of the year. And we heard, you know, Ben Sherrington say, I think, at his press conference that, you know, what might work in Boston won't necessarily work in Chicago, and vice versa. And I think these candidates here are good candidates for Chicago Cubs. I'm not sure that they're great candidates for the Boston Red Sox.
Jerry, one of the candidates that came to light today was some of the new guys that are going to be interviewed coming up later this week. Gene Lamont, a guy who was on the staff back in 2001, was on Jimmy Williams' staff. Your thoughts on Gene Lamont?
Yeah, that was a bit of a surprise, you know, seeing that name in the paper, I thought today, Nick, because here's a guy that's been around a long time, friend of Jimmy Leyland on his staff as a third base coach for many years, was formerly with the Red Sox. One of the more veteran guys that the Red Sox have talked about interviewing. And it's an interesting name that pops up today because he does have a heck of a lot of experience, and the fact that, you know, I'm kind of with Nick on this a little bit. I thought they'd be going more for guys that, you know, had a little bit more experience than what they've talked about so far. So that's why the name Gene Lamont becomes very interesting to me, because he does have that experience. He is a guy that could walk into the clubhouse right away. Players would know who he is, know who he's worked for the last number of years. Interesting choice, and that should be a very good interview.
Nick, why are they going this route? Why are they not going with the guys who have more experience managing in the majors?
You know, I think a lot of these teams want to come up with the next big thing, you know, the next superstar guy. And they do that with players, too. You know, the next big young superstar player, next big superstar, you know, manager. They probably want a guy they feel that can relate to the players more their age, you know, that kind of thing. But, you know, I think, you know, there has to be a respect there, too. And these guys are all respected. I'm not saying they're not. Dale Swaim is one of the most passionate baseball guys you'll ever see. I mean, he's tremendous. Although I just don't think that naming him the manager is going to go over really big in Red Sox Nation because of his troubles as a third base coach here and getting guys thrown out. I'm not sure that would go over. And I think they have to make a splash with the manager, because I'm not sure they're going to make a big splash with a lot of the acquisitions this year.
You know, one of the things that you talked about early, and you wrote very early, was Bobby Valentine, you know, and of course his name hasn't even popped up. The fact that he's got, I think, 2 years left in his contract at ESPN, that would certainly be an interesting choice for Boston. A guy that, you know, carries quite a reputation with him, is very outspoken, and would seem to be the kind of guy that could lead. I mean, this club's going to win. This is a very good ball club they're going to have next year, moving forward. And you know, my feeling had always been to bring a guy with more experience in that could lead him in that direction, walk in with respect. But so far, we have not heard those names. The closest thing to that was today hearing the name Gene Lamont.
Yeah, I mean, I get a lot of emails from people who say, well, did you really know much about Francona when they hired him? Yeah, you kind of did. I mean, he had managed in a big market in Philadelphia, you know, not very successfully, but at least he got the experience. I covered Francona way back with Michael Jordan when he was the Birmingham manager, and he handled that so incredibly well. I mean, that was like a circus with all the media from all over the world there, and you just knew he was going to really be able to handle things well. This is Boston. This is unlike anywhere else. I'm even including New York in that. You're under a microscope here. You better have your act together when you take this job.
And what an interesting, you know, opportunity is to interview for these jobs. I mean, these interviews go on all day long.
9 hours.
9 hours of a day. I mean,
yeah, it's unbelievable.
Interrogations is what they are.
Going over, you know, tapes of games that, I mean, that you're not even part of. I mean, it's going to be difficult.
Yeah, they simulate games. You know, what would you do in this situation? And I had a guy tell me the other day, I don't know why they asked me that, because they don't know anything. I don't know anything about the team. You know, I don't know how different guys react to different situations. It's a bad question to ask, but it's asked all the time.